Hi, I'm Mong Cha Cha, and welcome to the Mong Cha Cha Chronicles. In this episode, we take a short trip around the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds is a region in southwest England known for its picturesque villages constructed from honey golden coloured limestone known as Cotswold stone. From London, we hired a car and drove to Western Sub-Edge, where we had rented a holiday cottage. First stop was St Pancras Station to pick up the rental car. We actually had booked a Nissan, but then when we got there, they gave us a Volvo. We took a long time in the car park trying to figure out how to operate the Volvo, how to change the language on the GPS, figuring out which side were the wipers, which side were the indicators, and then we got a bit confused in inner city London roads. And then we got our first traffic infringement. And then we were out in the countryside where the speed limit was still 60 miles an hour. Let's see what's around this corner. Oh, thankfully nothing. So off we went to the supermarket to stock up.
So this one, I think, this one needs to eat first. Tonight 食啊？
我哋4個人係2個夠啦 because it's only fats and fibre, you know.
This is the holiday cottage that we rented, Granary Cottage. We got it through booking.com, but it's available on other platforms as well. Come and have a look. This is the dining and kitchen area. As you can see, it's all very modern. And the kitchen's very well equipped. It even had chopsticks. Next to the kitchen and dining area is a sitting room. There's also a laundry with a washing machine and dryer, and also a small study area. Okay, let's have a look upstairs. So as you can see, the staircase is quite narrow, steep and windy, and there are no bedrooms or bathrooms downstairs. This is the master bedroom, which has an ensuite. This is the family bathroom. This is a small single room, and here is a double bedroom. A closer look at the master bedroom and the double room. These retro door latches are really cool. Let's take a look. And from the other side, once again, come, I'll show you the view. This is the view from the double bedroom window. Granary Cottage is part of an L-shaped building that used to be a barn. It's now been converted into 4 cottages, and as you can see, the front cottage is currently undergoing renovation. As we pan around to the left, we have the borrowed landscape of the neighbour's garden with mature cherry trees, weeping willow, and a beautiful lawn. Can you hear the birds? The next day we drove from the cottage to Burton-on-the-Water. This was our first full day in the Cotswolds, and the weather was hot and sunny, and we had big plans. But first, we went to eat scones.
I'm sure you don't want to school, thank you.
It was just over £12 for a set, which included one fruit scone, jam and cream, and a pot of tea. We had the scones both ways, both jam first and cream first. After boosting our blood sugars, we set off. Our plan was to walk to Upper Slaughter, then to Lower Slaughter, and then back to Burton on the Water. As we left Burton on the Water, we passed by the Motoring Museum, one of the main attractions of the village. The scenery was beautiful. We walked alongside streams and through fields, and we walked through many gates, each one of a different latching mechanism. Every gate was like a little puzzle. And on we went. We walked and we walked and we walked for ages. We didn't think it was going to be such a long walk. We were hot and sweaty, hungry, thirsty, tired, grumpy, hay fevery. We weren't sure whether we were on the right track. We felt like turning around and going back to the car, and our walk kind of felt like this.
It's actually quicker to keep going. It's more than halfway.
So turning around wasn't a viable option, and soon we came across this sign, and we were back on paved roads and reached Upper Slaughter. We were so happy to be back in civilization. Look at that. Manicured gardens, restaurant, table service, bathrooms. It was early June and the garden was in peak condition. Because of our long walk, by the time we arrived, the restaurant had just closed. We were told, however, we could get food and drinks from the bar, so we sat down in the lounge and we had a look at the menu. What shall we get? But no one came to take our order, so we decided to set off again. We soon reached the village of Lower Slaughter. Lower Slaughter is located alongside the River Eye. Look how clear the water is. This is the old mill. It was used as a flour mill until 1958. Now let's turn around and have a look at these lovely cottages. We eventually got back to our starting point, Burton on the Water. First things first, an ice cream, a Cornish pasty, and more ice cream. Burton on the Water is by the banks of the River Windrush, which is crossed by 5 low stone bridges. It is a very popular village for tourists, and as you can see, there are many tourists around today, like us, eating ice cream.
just a bubble jerk because this counts. Bumble doesn't count.
Lots of duckies, lots of tourists, and lots of ice cream shops. Then it was time to go back to the cottage and for one last gate challenge. The next day we set off early for Byberry, home of the famous Arlington Row. We were lucky to get parking close by, and all we had to do was cross the River Colne, and there we were. Arlington Row was built in 1380 and initially used as a wool store. It was converted to cottages for weavers in the 1600s and currently is a Grade 1 listed building. In front of Arlington Row was a field containing these interesting cows. They were woolly and looked like they had been crossed with pandas. Okay, let's have one last look at Arlington Row. On the other side of the field with the interesting cows was the Byberry Trout Farm, founded in 1902. We brought some trout home for lunch. Later on we went to the villages of Broadway, Chipping Campden, Stow on the Ward and Moreton and Marsh. This is Broadway, one of the larger villages in the region and known for its broad high street and being the residence of prominent people associated with the arts and crafts movement of the late 19th and earlier 20th centuries. In Broadway there was a Tudor house with a real thatched roof. Let's get a closer look at that thatched roof. We then went house hunting, and later on we bumped into this regular customer of the greengrocer. Next stop was Chipping Campden. The Cotswolds stone is all around here, to the left, to the right, in front of you, behind you. We then stopped at Stow on the Ward, which is home to the Porch House, said to be England's oldest inn. And finally we visited Moreton and Marsh. This town is unique in the Cotswolds in that it has a train station serviced by direct trains from London Paddington. We had a walk around the town and visited some shops, including this provision shop with a large range of cheeses. Hard cheeses, soft cheeses, smelly cheeses, non-smelly cheeses, white cheese, yellow cheese, orange cheese, blue cheese. It also had a large range of chutneys, jams and pickles, and also baked goods. But it was all a bit pricey. So we got these instead from the market. Time to pack up and head back to London, but there are a few final hurdles. How do we get the lockbox shut?
Know how to do this? 讀書 that one is easy.
喂，你點樣？
Seriously.
咁你點樣小學畢業有嗰啲即係常識啊嗰啲 IQ 題㗎嘛？
How do we shut the car boot?
即係而家都係得月6。
After resorting to brute force, we were on our way. We stopped by Burford on the way back to London. By this stage, it was cold and rainy, and these sausage rolls looked very appetising. We went to look for a nice cosy cafe, but the problem wasn't finding a cafe, but deciding on which one. There were so many. Sausage roll time.
呢個靚過隔離，確實坐車有黐線冇啊！所以你個啱㗎，你係冇芝士。
After the inputs was the outputs. This public toilet charged 20p to unlock the door, so we made the most of our 20p by making sure the door wasn't locked between users.
我哋而家免費去廁所，去完一個又一個，唔閂嗰個門。
Then it was time for our final leg of the journey back to London, where we will commit our second traffic infringement. It was lucky we managed to save some money on the public toilet, because it was £125 per infringement, and that was for failing to pay the London congestion charge within 3 days of entering the congestion charge zone. This zone is set in the map bound by the broken red line. In addition to the congestion charge, there are actually 3 other charges which apply to this zone. One of these additional charges applies to light vehicles, such as passenger vehicles, and that is the ultra-low emission zone. Most modern vehicles will be exempt from the ultra-low emission zone charge, and you can check your vehicle by entering the registration plate number into the website. If the website tells you that the vehicle is exempt from the ultra-low emission zone charge, it does not mean it is exempt from the congestion charge, because there are separate charges. And this is where we got into a pickle. So don't be Mong Cha Cha like me. Check the website carefully before you drive in London. So that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching the Mong Cha Cha Chronicles, and I'll see you next time.